before because I'm looking out and I know I don't know everybody. I'm Allie Lemberg. I'm one of the captains this season. So I'm not alone. Come on, friend.
I'm Josh Harp.
Hi, I'm Katie Kelly.
Jake Bradley.
And Kathy DeKind.
We're really excited to have you guys here, and the goals we set out for today is to get to meet your teammates, because that's part of this, is that you're taking on something that's a big goal, or you want to do a half marathon or a full marathon and you want to do it with people, or you want to join this mission but you want to meet people. So that's going to be one of our first goals. We also want to kind of go over some of the big stuff that you may or may not know about in terms of how is the training going to work, how is the fundraising going to work, and then why we are doing this. That I went to a training in March and learned all about the mission itself, and so I'm really excited to talk to you guys kind of about the mission and why we run, because I think that really is the driving force for a lot of us. So I'm really excited to be able to talk about that today. But the first goal really is to get to know each other, and so I know everyone loves icebreakers, and this is fun. Allie, I need your help. Okay, you and Josh too. Josh doesn't know this. Okay, so here's our icebreaker. Jake, we're gonna need you in a second. We'll need you in a second. Okay, so who knows how to play rock, paper, scissors? Rock, paper, scissors? Okay, good. You know how to play this game then, okay? So what we're gonna do is you're gonna do rock, paper, scissors, so. Ready? It's just rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Okay? Best of three. Okay, we got a one. Wait, is that best of three? Best of three. Okay, so he's our winner. So now he is going to go find someone else who won. But Allie is now part of his cheer posse, because part of what we're going to do all season is be each other's cheerleaders. And so she is going to start cheering for Josh as he goes up against Jake. So we're going to demonstrate, and Allie's going to show you her cheerleading prowess here. And this, I know, she's so good at this. Okay, so go, guys. And Josh is the winner. So now Jake is part of the cheer posse, okay? And we will keep doing this until we build our cheer posses down to 2, and they're going to come up here, and we're going to see who our winner for our rock, paper, scissors is. Are you guys ready?
It shows you can cheer for something that you don't even know. Like, we're all going to
Right? And Melanie's giving me the look that my 15-year-olds give me, which is awesome, and I love that look. That look makes me so happy. I teach freshmen. It's awesome. Okay, so you have to stand up and find somebody, introduce yourself to them first, and you're gonna do your rock, paper, scissors, best 2 out of 3. Yeah, start over. Start over, guys. And when you move to a new group, introduce yourselves before you start. Okay, you gotta find your next person, find your next winner. Okay, call it out when you've got winners. Call them out when you've got winners. Okay, so I want one from the back, and then we'll get one from the front. So let's see when you get back. Okay, whoever is left, get through that group right there, and then you guys are going to come on up, whoever's left. Okay, bring yourselves up and your cheer posses. Bring yourselves and your cheer posses up. Who's left? Okay, Stacy. Okay, Stacy's cheer posse over here. Do we have 2 or 3 others? We got 1 or 2. Okay, who's left? Okay, the 2 of you guys go. Okay, right here. Okay, here. I need to hear the cheer posses. Okay, here we go. she gotcha. Was that scissors or paper? Oh, it was paper. Oh, okay. Okay. Wait. Oh, okay. Now we're down. Okay. Yeah, no. Is that tied? Oh, 1-1. Okay, here, last one, guys. And then we still have a winner over here, right? Okay, and then you're going to be up, Stacy. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Okay. Oh, winner! Okay, so now we need Scott and his cheer posse over here. We've got Stacy. Come on up, guys. Come on up to the middle. Here we go. Let's see it. Okay. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. We got one right here. We got winner. Okay, now we're all going to cheer for Scott. Scott! Woo! Scott! Excellent. Thanks, guys. Okay, good. Have a seat. Wasn't that fun? See? So my favorite part about that, right? My favorite part is that we're all going to be cheering for each other, and that's my favorite part about all of this, is that we're all here for the same mission. We're all here to meet people and to do a great big goal. So I'm going to pass this on over to Josh and Jake, who are going to talk about training. So come on over, Josh.
Guys, thanks for being here. Wow, it's really loud. This will be the most boring thing that we do all day, I promise. I coach triathletes as a part-time gig. I've been coaching and racing for about 17 years now, off and on, between the two. So a couple of quick things that we're going to talk about the training. We'll be real brief. We keep talking about the shoe thing. We are not affiliated with any shoe company. We're not trying to make money for them. It's really important that you get shoes that work and fit for you and your gait. So please go somewhere like Runner's Forum, Blue Mile, Endurance House. Sounds like they're going to take good care of us. Anywhere like that, get your running shoes fitted and try to wear those only for running if you can. And when you do this, please use some kind of training log if you don't have one already. If you're going by the training plan verbatim, you should know what your mileage is. That'll be a pretty easy way to check it off. Swap those shoes out depending on the kind of shoe and your size as an athlete. Obviously, a 110-pound woman and a 220-pound guy are going to wear a shoe differently, but you don't want to wear those shoes typically more than 300 to 500 miles. It sounds like a lot. When you're training regularly, that goes pretty fast, particularly if you're using them for something other than your run training. Stick to the training as much as you can. Put the plan on the fridge. It's such a simple thing. Some people prefer on the computer. Some people like to just take a picture of that. But if it's in front of you, you're thinking about it. And before you know it, you'll be surprised how quickly those little 3-mile runs, those little 2-mile runs, those 20-minute days all start to add up. And it makes it really, really easy when you get toward the back end of the plan. It doesn't seem as intimidating to you. Bumps in the road, injury, negative people, self-doubt. Listen, guys, we've all been there. Everybody's got something that's made it hard for them to train. Try to stay positive as you go. If you have a little injury or something, talk to one of us. Talk to your teammates. We can help you find alternative ways to train. If you do get an injury, we may tell you to go to an ortho or an expert or something like that if it's a serious injury. But the little bumps and bruises, nobody in here, are there anybody that's under 20? Oh, one, yeah. I didn't think, okay, thank you, young man. Yes, you are definitely under 20. I'd buy that for a second. We're all a little older, you know, maybe some of us are approaching what would be called middle-aged, and I know that I'm constantly getting injured. Or maybe a little past it, but I wouldn't go there. You know, I know that we're all starting to get injuries as we start to do training. I get injuries picking my kids up to put them in the car now. That's part of it, but we can kind of help together collectively encourage each other and determine what's an injury and what's something that maybe we can train through as we go. Guys, come to group runs as the team. If you've never been on some of these longer runs that you're going to encounter late in your training, you just don't know what a mental boost it is to do it with a friend. If you just have one or two partners, this group, you'll see this happen. This will be the deal where it might be a deal where, you know, you and I may end up running at just the same pace, and we may end up on the Saturday morning runs running together, or maybe we don't. But there is going to be somebody that runs just about your pace, and you're going to start seeing them. You're going to develop a friendship with that. I think that does a lot for us. It does a lot for us as a church, and it does a lot for us as athletes as well, to have that person pushing you along, helping you go, because you'll each have strengths and weaknesses. And to help each other, you start chatting during those runs. Before you know it, you're halfway done, you're 3/4 of the way done, that run's over, and you've been sitting there chatting and catching up with somebody during that run. And then you finish, you think, wow, it wasn't like the desk log that I went on Tuesday morning that I had to do by myself. This was, twice as long, 2 miles longer than what I just did. But it went fast because you're with friends and you're getting that emotional support. It's just really, really important. Are there any more slides on training? Do you want to? Let you do it. Go ahead. You sure? Yep. Okay. I'll try not to nerd out on everybody here, but I'm certainly capable. So, Brad, if I do start to nerd out, will you give me a signal to say, "Hey, Josh, that's enough"? All right. Brad and I are in a grow group together, and start glassing. Everybody starts to glass over when I talk about training, and he's like, "Oh, that's too far. Time to turn it off." Real quick, if you are already a runner and you are running injury and pain-free, there is no reason to change your form, regardless of what you read on the internet. If you are just starting your run training, there are some things that you can do that will kind of help you along with that. And we're going to go over a few of them here. If you guys are interested in learning more, we can do a run clinic, and we can kind of talk about what some of those things are. Come on down, partner. How you doing? And we can talk about some of those things. I just don't want to take up a whole lot of your time with this kind of thing right now. When we talk about running, run posture. As you run, try to run very tall, all right? Think about keeping your posture up. A lot of us sit in front of computers or drive cars all day in the society that we live in, and so our bodies generally kind of go into this position. Try not to run. Your head is very heavy, and as you start to slouch a little bit, you'll end up with low back pain, some pulling, and that'll throw your entire gait. It's a slippery slope of throwing your gait or your run stride out of balance when you do that. Great posture. The biggest single thing that you can do that will help you with good running and good form is to increase your cadence. A lot of Americans have been trained for years since we were little kids to drive that heel into the ground when you run and overstride out and bring this heel down. When this heel comes into the ground like this, you can see that my knee is fully extended. You're driving, all this energy is going from your knee into your hip and into your body. A better way to run, generally, if you can keep your feet directly underneath you, all right, take slightly shorter strides, and instead of fall out like this, let your body stride out in a very natural way toward the back, okay? So a little bit more out the back running with your hips and knees directly underneath your body. An easy way to do that, you can either take a metronome, or if you get online, if you run with music, they actually have music out there that they've picked all the music that runs at 180 beats a minute. Download those to the iPod or to the phone or whatever, throw those headphones in, and just run to the beat of that music, and you can get that cadence up, all right? If you run at 180 beats a minute or strides per minute, you simply can't overstride. There's no way to run like this at 180 strides a minute. And if anybody wants to try it in the parking lot afterwards, I'll go with you, but let me get my camera out first, because if you've ever seen anybody try to do it, it's hilarious, all right? Slightly forward lean on the body, and that lean should come from the ankles and not the midsection. So not this so much as this, all right? And if you try to lean forward when you run just a little bit, gravity will help you, and then the turnover of the feet kind of comes along with that. Anything else, Jake? All right. Any questions on that? Be here afterwards to chat.
So we aren't affiliated with any running company, but we do have a team sponsor, and it's Endurance House. There are 2 locations. There's one in Zionsville, and there's one in Fishers. At the end, if everybody can come up, we have a $15 off $100 gift certificate for everybody, or if your spouse isn't here, take 2. You can't use 2 for yourself, but take as many as you want. They will also do, and all of the places will do this, but they do a personalized movement profile. So like Josh was talking about, your running gait, you want to get the shoe that fits it. They videotape you with a specialized iPad, just your ankles or your calves and below. And they watch you run on a neutral shoe. It has no support or anything in it. It's just a flat deal. You run for like 30 seconds. They look at what your foot's doing in super slow motion. So like for me, I land and then I roll in a little bit. So I have to have a special shoe for that, but it's very late. A lot of people will land and roll. So anyways, geeking out, sorry. But they will look at that and then they'll put you in a different shoe. You see if you like it. They also let you run again. They videotape it again. They look, did they correct that thing that you were doing before that needed correction? Some people don't need it. Everything else you need, they have it all there. Also, they donated tonight 48 gels. We're not supposed to talk about gels, so we're not going to talk about them. But when we get into training, hey, I don't like rules. Comes with my job. At the end of the night, at the end of our session here, we're going to do one of two things. Everybody can try these gels if you want. When we get deeper into the training, they're going to become important, especially for you marathoners. But we have two different flavors, so either you can take one with you or we can squirt some out onto some plates, and I have little toothpicks. You can taste them. It's a really good idea now to start tasting gels, figure out what you like, figure out what you don't like, and most importantly, figure out what your stomach likes. I cannot take goo. It makes me sick as can be. So then I learned that because on a 3-mile run after work one night, I took a gel down just to test it, and by the end I was like running like this. So it's good to test, figure out this stuff will be on course. So if it works well for you, it'll be free in the race if you want it. That's it. We didn't talk about gels. All right, training. Do you want to take over, or what do you want? Yeah, go ahead.
Please don't be. Guys, just a quick overview of the training. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. One thing I would like to drive home when we talk about this training, and this is for marathon and half marathon people. When we're running, most of us that are beginning runners, and some of you may be experienced runners, and you may run with a heart rate monitor or some other pacing or something like that that gives you a level of intensity that you know is just right for you. But you guys should all have a copy of this, and if you don't, make sure to see us afterwards, let us know, and we'll make sure that you get a copy of this or the half marathon base training as well. This base training is a really great way to kind of set you up for success with what you're going to do down the road. And real quick, I want to talk about some of the intensities that we should be using. Now, everybody's gone out on a run, all right, and everybody's probably kind of practiced already and done some training. But I want you to think about this for a second. When we run in different kinds of effort levels, we potentially may be running too hard for the kind of race that we're going to do, all right? So I'm telling you that you should be running a little easier than you are right now. If you haven't started running yet, I'm going to tell you that the pace that you should be training at for this kind of event should be something that you could have a conversation at, all right? And we talk about heart rate zones. For those of you that might use heart rate monitors, generally the heart rate zone that we're going to do the bulk of our half marathon or marathon training at is going to be that zone 2 heart rate. And that is just a little harder than an easy kind of walk. All right, so don't make no mistake. I'm not saying you need to walk this thing, but if we were out running today and you and I could have a normal conversation. Hey, Brad, how you doing? I'm doing pretty good. How you doing? I'm a little tired from last night, but I'm okay. That kind of talking, okay? Not Gettysburg Address type thing, but just being able to talk at a conversational level. If you are to the point of exertion that you cannot talk, you are probably running a little too hard, all right? So if you want to palpitate your pulse, I'll tell you for the average person, this can vary a little bit, but what we should be seeing for heart rate during that time should be around 145 to 155 beats a minute. Now, there are people out there that have hummingbird hearts that you scare them coming around the corner and their hearts beat 180 beats a minute, and there are some out there that can't go over 140. That's very rare. Most of the people should be in that ballpark during one of these training runs for intensities. Next slide, please. Half marathon base training, also pretty self-explanatory. Obviously, when we're talking about these walk sections, those are just a brisk walk, all right? These don't need to be done at any kind of intensity. But when you do begin to run, I really want you guys to think about that conversational level. We don't want you out there for 30 minutes getting done and feeling like can't get back to the house, right? Nobody wins in that deal. You're going to get injured, you're going to get burned out from running, and you're not going to have any fun. So slow down just a little bit, and that's going to help you with longevity. It's going to help your body take a little more time on your feet and help you prevent injury. Questions on that or on the training? Yes, ma'am. Yeah, so if you look, thank you. So if you look, like for instance, Monday, week 1, run 2, walk 1, or run 2, walk 1, run 3, walk 1 as you go down that first column. So that's a 20-minute run. We're going to call it a run, but you are going to run for 2 minutes and take a 1-minute recovery, and you're going to repeat that process until you complete that time on your feet. Does that answer your question? Great.
If you're already an experienced runner and you go out for 30, 45 minutes naturally, you don't have to do the run walk, but it's definitely, if you are totally new to this, stick with the run walk and you'll thank yourself later for that easing your body into it. But if you're already an experienced runner, you already run, you can do 20 minutes solid, 30 minutes solid. But like Josh said, just don't go out and kill it because you've got a long time.
All right, who's doing group run info?
All right, so on the slide, it's 7 a.m. for the group run. It should say 7 a.m. for the group run. So let's all get up and get there. They'll be happening Saturday mornings. This starts after July 4th, right?
I think it's July 7th is the first day.
Thanks, July 7th. 7 a.m. at the gazebo. All of the TWV teams that are around are all going to be there. So it's not going to be just the 47 in our group. There's going to be hundreds. Wear your T-shirts. If you haven't gotten them yet, you have to, I found this out the hard way, you have to go onto a separate website and you have to create a new username and password. So if you're like me and you get very frustrated when your password doesn't work, it won't on the purchase site. But the shirts are great. They're super comfortable. Also, we're all in this together. So we want to make sure that we set up as many group runs as we humanly can help all of us. So we have little slips here, and if you have a preference of when you would like to run, please fill these out and then give them to us at the end of the day here. Then we're going to compile them and try and set up some group runs through the week where we can all get together so that you're not doing everything by yourselves during the week. Of course, you don't have to come. It's just an option. And then the other thing I wanted to say about what Josh was saying, I also use heart rate monitors and all that kind of nonsense. But if you don't do that and you don't want to, a really good way to tell your pace is if you start to hear yourself breathing. Now, obviously, you can hear yourself breathing sitting here, but I mean, if you're like, that kind of thing, you're probably going too fast. You'll know. You'll know. So if you're doing that, just take it down a notch. The easier you do this, the more enjoyable it's going to be and the better it's going to be for your longevity and staying injury-free. Next slide.
We're going to move on to talking about the mission, and I think that's a great driver for why we're here and what we're all about. So Charlie, if you could get the video, that would be fantastic. Allie and I went to a training in March, and we learned a lot about Team World Vision. And the whole idea of the entire team is that we're all trying to raise money to help end the water crisis in Africa. And I'm going to talk about some statistics and some of the details about that. But to get us started, they've got a video here that you can kind of see what it is we're trying to do and why. So we'll get it going here. I'm trying to think with running, with the talk test. I really like the talk test of like, can you have a conversation? If you can only say a word or two at a time, that's kind of my indicator that I'm going too fast. Like if I could say a word, then I have to breathe. It's like, okay, that's too much. But I think we're ready to go. Are we ready, Charlie?
But if you can sing a song,
that's probably too slow.
like way too slow. And you've got control free, you might want to step it up.
Yep.
One, two, three. Come here.
It's like God chose Maureen to be my sponsored child. It is unreal how similar we are in our personalities. She is so silly and she's full of energy. She goes 100 miles an hour all the time, and people always tell me that about myself. She laughs and goofs around. She's super outgoing, but she still loves to cuddle and be quiet. So it's literally like God chose her to be my sponsored child. The issue of clean water is huge. Over 700 million people don't have access to clean, safe water. So I thought, maybe if I sponsored a child in Kenya in a community that doesn't have access to safe water, it would make the issue of clean water more personal to me. When I first came to Bartabwa, there was no access to safe water. People were walking several miles 2 or 3 times a day just to get water that wasn't even safe to drink. The child mortality rate in Bartabwa at the time was 50%. That means kids only had a 50-50 shot of CNH5. And Maureen was only 3.5. So she was already on her way to beating the odds, but it left me with a sense of urgency that we need to get clean water to this community. World Vision's child sponsorship program is unique in so many ways. World Vision focuses on tackling the root causes of poverty, things like access to clean water, healthcare and immunizations, agricultural development and food security, education and literacy, and even economic development. So when I send my $35 a month, instead of simply giving that to Maureen's family, what they do is they pool that money with the money from all the other child sponsors of over 3,000 kids in this community. They pool that money, and now they can do large-scale community development projects. It's that model that allows World Vision to build schools. It's that model that allows World Vision to do large healthcare facilities. It's that model that allows World Vision to do mind-blowing water projects. Instead of just drilling a well right here in Maureen's community, World Vision is going to try and tackle the water problem from a holistic perspective. They're going to try and go from 0 access to safe water to 100% access to safe water. Not just for Maureen, but for over 23,000 people in this community and in communities just like hers all across Africa.
So we are not going for the sponsorship so much as right now we are trying to raise money, and that money gets pooled. What I love about it is that the money doesn't just go directly to building one well. It's a holistic approach where they go in and they find the solutions that work in particular communities, and they invest in that. Around the world, this number is 643. Actually, we're learning that it's actually 844 million people around the world have no access to clean water. And that means that the definition of that is 30 minutes round trip of walking. And it's not just walking with yourself. You guys might have seen us have this can out. This is a jerry can similar to what people will go and take to a water source to fill up. When it's full of 5 gallons of water, it weighs 40 pounds. And so it's really heavy. Jake was trying to do curls with it, and he was on the struggle bus. But this is not just a once in a week thing. This is an everyday thing. And part of the problem is that the people going to get water a lot of times are girls and their kids who are then not in school. And because they're not in school, they're not able to get an education. Because they can't get that education, they can't then help their community move forward. And so it's this really huge problem that stems from clean water. And what Team World Vision does, what World Vision does, is they go in and they figure out, they assess a community and they figure out what they need. Some of the details here, you're talking about walking 4 miles on average to get clean water. And we'll fill this up and we'll bring it to a group training again, and you can lift it up to just get a feel and imagine when you go on that 4-mile run, what would it feel like to have to carry this? And it's pretty powerful when you finally lift it up. And I think about, I have a three-year-old son, and they'll have like half-size ones that little kids will carry. And I can't imagine that myself. But one of the things we're here to do is to find those solutions. So try the next one. When you look at this, World Vision's the largest non-governmental provider of clean water in the developing world. And the idea is that they're reaching a new person with clean water every 10 seconds. In 2016, they provided clean water to 4.7 million people around the world, which I think is really cool. And so you can learn more about all the water projects, but the next slide I can show you just kind of an example of some of the water projects that they're involved in. One of the things that was really powerful to me, hearing one of the speakers from World Vision talk, is the fact that they don't go in and just create a well, because a well won't work in every community, that they need different solutions for different communities. And that's what I thought was really cool, that you've got drill rigs, they will go in and they'll put in pipelines from an elevated source of water, and they'll actually have a lake that at the bottom of the lake they will put in a filter. And then the filter, they'll put piping in that will take the water that will be filtered at the top of the mountain, and then the pipe will actually take it down into the village. And then there are a couple of water sources that you can go to, like right outside of the school, right outside of a sanitation facility, which would be like an outhouse. And other things we don't even think about is they have to think about then, you know, where are the animals? Where are humans going to the bathroom? How do you make sure you keep that water source clean? What I liked about what they talk about is they don't just put in a water source, they teach the people how to manage it. So next one. They teach the people how to manage it, and the people learn about hand washing. They learn about the value of latrines as opposed to going to the bathroom wherever they want. They have a local water committee, and I think this is so powerful that the whole goal for World Vision is to go into an area, figure out their needs, figure out a solution that will work for them, and then get out. But in the process, they build up a water committee, and their job then is to manage the water source. And they are the ones who then make sure it stays clean. They're the ones that make sure they know how to fix it if something breaks. So it really, truly is a sustainable water source. And I like knowing those details, because when people ask me, well, what are you doing with my money? If you're getting donations, you can say, you know, we're really helping develop lasting, long-lasting, enduring sources of water for families. And then they also bring in local engineers who help with the design process, because they understand what you can and can't do in an area. One of the ones they were talking about was the lake up the top of the mountain. They had a malaria problem in the area. So what they figured out was there were certain fish that they could stock the lake with that will eat the larvae of the mosquitoes. And it's that sort of detailed approach that World Vision takes that I think is really powerful and really can have a lasting impact. And so Allie's going to talk a little bit about the fundraising side.
So now that you know what they're doing with the money, you probably are like, okay, let's raise some money. How many of you have gotten your web page set up? Fantastic. How many of you have shared that website with anyone? Okay. Have you done it using the tools that they provide? How many of you are aware that there are tools that they provide to help you make it easier? Oh my gosh, you guys are awesome. Okay, so that makes my job so easy. One of the most important things is customizing your page. Everybody wants to give to you. They don't want to give to me. Your people don't know me necessarily. They want to give to you. So when they come to your link, they want to see a picture of you, and they want to feel that connection. If you've already set up your page and you didn't make it say your name like they're recommending here, it's really okay. I didn't do that. I didn't see that option before. So mine is just like participant number, whatever. It's fine, because when people get there, they see my name, they see St. Mark's, and they see a picture of me, and that's good. And then you want to set your goal. And how many of you are close to your goal that you set? I know some people are. As you get closer to your goal, people will give less and less and less. So you just keep raising your goal, and then you'll hit what you want to hit. That's it. What we learned at the conference in March is people want to help you. If you say, I want to raise $200, probably 2 people will give you $200. If you say you want to raise $10,000, people that might have given you 50 might now give you 75. People that might have given you 100 might give you 500. I've noticed that when I changed my goal from I want to raise $3,000 to I want to raise $10,000, the donation amount went up. People see this is an important thing to me, and they want to get behind me. So the exciting thing is I can say I want to raise $10,000. If I don't, it's not like I'm writing a check for $7,000. I've done the best I can. So I would like to encourage you to set your goals so people can donate and feel good. And as you're getting close, feel free to keep moving it up. I don't think that's shady. I think it's because the first time someone recommended that, I was like, that's kind of weird. I said what I wanted to do. But the thing is, there are still people that want to help you. So let's let them help you and feel good and hit an even bigger goal and help people see all that you can do. So the other thing is there's already a story listed on the page. If you have an even better story, a reason that you want to do this, I know some people, like for me, I have one son that's 4 and one son that's 6. To imagine that one of them wouldn't make it to their 5th birthday is unthinkable for me. To imagine, I mean, you've seen my kids. They're the circus up here. I can't imagine walking 40 miles, carrying this, trying to keep them from getting stolen or abducted or even just in the same path as me, because carrying this for me is enough. So for me to put myself in those shoes, that's a story. That's my why. And people can relate to that. I loved Maureen's story? I loved her story, but to my donors, it's relatable that, oh my gosh, yeah, can you imagine Allie Lindbergh with her crazy boys carrying 40 miles and walking 13 miles a day? So find what resonated for you when they were introducing this in church and something called you, something resonated in you, something stirred. Share that on your page, because that's what's going to inspire people to support you too. And then you have to make sure you save your changes, and then you can share it. And I know some of you, that was great. You've shared it on Facebook. You've sent emails. If anybody needs help with that, we're happy to help you. There are tools that make it easy to share on Facebook, Instagram. I think there's even like Twitter. I don't tweet, but I think Katie does. But so we can help you and go from there. Does anybody have any questions about the fundraising piece? We're off to a great start. Just so you know, we're the #1 team in Indy so far. So it's fantastic. I set our goal at 50,000 because when we do Pack Away Hunger, we do 40,000. So I figured we could do 50,000. If you guys feel like it should be another one, just shout it out. Or if you feel okay with it, raise your hand. I will just keep bumping it up. But right now the season hasn't even started and we're at over $7,000. So I feel like 50 is going to be something that we're going to put behind us. So in case you wonder why our goal keeps changing or you're like, gosh, I thought we were closer than that, it's because I am bumping it up. So that's fundraising. Any questions about fundraising?
We've talked about getting together and doing some group fundraising activities. So if you're interested in that, we've kind of started to throw around some ideas.
Yeah.
Let us know and we can get you tapped into that as well, because not everybody has a huge network of people. But there are ways that we can do fun group things and then also raise money for the cause as well.
Yes. 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 Did everybody hear about the company match? So this is an organization that numerous companies will match. So if someone donates to you, there's also a thank you that you can send. And in the pre-printed thank you, it even mentions the company match. So then all they have to do is yes, link it in, Peter.
I was going to add also that we're setting this up. We're going to have 50 people, 50 people, 50 people. So it's really important to
Yes. 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 So when you are doing your Facebook posts, there's a couple things about that. This is a great thing that I've just learned. When you're doing your Facebook post, you definitely want to take your link from your web page and put it right there on, and do that link. You don't want to do a donate button or anything like that. You want to do your web link. The other thing is Facebook doesn't like it if you have a different website, because that's going to take your viewers off Facebook. So I was told that you should say, click on the link in comments, because then it's a different thing. It doesn't pull people from your post. So when people are liking it, that'll drive your traffic up. It'll keep it high in your feed. And then when they're clicking off, it's from comments, not from your post. So it'll still keep it high in your feed. It's like this crazy algorithm. So if you've posted and you're like, gosh, nobody's done it, it's because I didn't know this the first time. So I had more traffic when I put it in the comments. It's so crazy. Than when I just had it like, hey, right there in the body of my message. Does that make sense? Yeah, so I put a picture the second time of my boys and was like, I'm so glad I don't have to do this. Please see the comments for the links. And because it was my boys, people were liking it, then they were looking, and then they donated. But when it wasn't in anybody's feed when I had the link, because and I had no idea this was an algorithm thing so there you go. Go Facebook, go Zuckerberg. So does anybody have any other things to add? I love Facebook. I'm not trying to put it down. In case anybody took it that way. Okay. Yes. Oh, no. So when you signed up, you should have gotten a link, welcome to the team. And then it says, here's your personal web page for donations. Did you get one of those? Yes. So, okay. So what we were talking about is from there in your toolbox, it'll say send this link via email. It'll also say send it via Facebook, Twitter. It has all these other ways for you to send and get donations. And so some people have had great success. Some people have had some complications in their donations from how they were posted on Facebook. And so we want to keep that to a minimum. We've worked with the staff person to find the best way to do that. And it's to put your own thing instead of, I'm sorry if that was confusing. Anything else? Okay. There we go. Yeah. Yes. So if you did it a different way already, it's okay. You can still track that on your page. You just have to manually add it, which is fine and can be done. But I think since we're so new to this, if we all just kind of post it out there and not use a donate button or anything like that, I think that'll be the easiest for all of us. Does that make sense? Because I want you to have the easiest, most successful experience with your fundraising. And there's nothing worse than people donating and you being like, dude, I want to see it. And they want to see it too, because they want to know it got where it was supposed to go. Anything? Okay.
All right, in the interest of time, we're going to skip our little group activity. We'll have plenty of time to get to know each other as we go on. I'm going to take everybody through a dynamic warm-up. This is a really good idea to do before you run every time. It takes like 3 minutes, but it will help with all those little aches and pains. The other thing it does is it helps build some of the smaller muscles that you're not using when you're running, but are helping support. But before I do that real quick, I would just want to say, this whole thing is about water. There's going to be a lot that everybody grows from this, but it's about water. And one really good way to help yourself with your training is to stay completely hydrated. I try to drink one of these every hour. Why do I do that? Well, one, because I drink a lot of water. I drink over a gallon of water a day. It helps me feel much, much better. But two, I have a desk job. If I don't drink one of these every hour, I don't get up. I can sit there for 3 hours and I didn't realize it. If I drink one of these every hour, I'm up about every 45 minutes. So, something good, get a bottle. And again, for the environment, reusable, much better, please. Thank you. So I'm not going to use this because I won't be able to
Oh, sure.
do this. So I definitely did not.
Do you want to get everyone to stand up and?
Well, you guys can do this with me, or
Yeah, get up. Okay, I'm gonna make everyone get up. So let's all, find a spot in the aisle. We're up front here. Yeah, find a spot. We all be sitting, so.
not wearing my shoes for this.
That's okay. Don't take them.
So there are everybody's different. Josh will probably have something different, but
everything
things
good?
that I like to do. The whole goal of this, and you'll realize this is if you get the right running form, you're going to know it because you're going to feel it in one place in particular. And so the whole goal of these warm-ups is to get this thing moving and get these muscles activated. So the first thing I do, and again, the other thing is make sure you keep good posture. You want your shoulders to be back and high. But the first thing you do is high knees. So just lift your leg, grab it by the knee, and hold up to your chest. Okay? And I like to do 8 on each side. I'm going to do next week. So that's that. The next one then is just pull back. So lift your leg up, grab your ankle, don't grab your foot, grab your ankle, pull back, and that'll get a nice stretch in your quad. Okay? So these are very good things to do because you're doing dynamic stretching. You're not. What you don't want to do is stretch cold muscles. You don't want to do this one with your cold muscles because that can lead to pulls and tears and bad things like that. So
And you can just walk with it too, so it's not
so
awkward.
actually that's what I do. Will you yell at me if I take my flip flops off? I won't yell at you. Will anybody else? Sorry. So yeah, what you do is pull, take a step, pull, take a step, pull. It's a lot easier to do it this way than it is to do it standing in place. Okay, so that's that one. The next one then is called figure 4. You'll figure out why in a second. Same kind of concept. Grab your ankle and your knee and twist. And you'll feel it right there. Okay. So do that, and you can do this one also while you're walking. Just like that. I like to do, like I said, 8 on each side. The next one then is good for the hamstring. Take a step, keep your toe up, and sweep the floor. Sweep the floor. This one's awesome because when you're doing this before a race, you look absolutely ridiculous.
We're all doing it together, we look ridiculous together.
But you'll feel it, and this is really good because it gets everything going. The next one is a leg kick. So you grab something to hold on to, like a wall or a table, something that's at least this high. Bring your knee up and kick it back. Okay? Up and back. You want to hold on to something if you're doing this one.
You can do a hold on to a partner.
Yeah.
Like you go shoulder to shoulder.
Yeah. I like to do those sides too, keep both sides. I do like 8 on each. And another really good one, it'll be hard in the shorts. It's like you're stepping over a hurdle. So grab on the wall. Actually, my fireplace mantle is awesome for this. It's the right height for me. I'm right about 6 feet tall. But what you want to do is swing your leg around like you're stepping over a hurdle. Okay? You'll feel the inside there. Good. Good thing to do. And then the other way, you want to go from front to the back, which is really hard to do not hold it. The back will run you from the back. Try to step over that hurdle. You'll do it, you can do it a little bit quicker than I'm doing up here. You'll feel everything get nice and warmed up. Then the other thing I like to do at the end is squats. But the trick to squats, which you don't want to do this. You got to keep these knees back behind your feet. So squat like that. I'm so sorry.
As if you're sitting into a chair.
Yeah, as if you're sitting down in a chair. You can hold on to something if you need to.
And sometimes you can grab like a water bottle to counterbalance.
Yeah, that's.
Because like that helps too. Because otherwise you're like, you want to feel like you're gonna fall back. Like your weight's all in your heels. So.
And when you come up, what you want to do, that muscle we were talking about, squeeze it. Squeeze it tight as you come up, because that gets everything going. Sometimes I do lunges. I don't squat down like this. See where my knee is? Yeah, do this. There we go. You don't want to do this. That's bad. That'll hurt your knee. Yeah, you don't want your knee past your foot. So big step out there and then squat down. If you get really excited, you can do side squats. Maybe side squat. And then there's also back squat, which I don't do very much of because I'm really bad at it. But yeah, if you want to do the lunges. The lunges are also another good way to get squeeze as you're coming up. If you want to get glutes up.
Okay, Pastor Brian, would you lead us in prayer to finish off tonight? We're so excited, you guys. I totally put him on the spot, but I think that's his job. We're really excited to have you guys here, and I'm really excited to see you guys. The first group training is July 7th, and we'll make sure that you guys get reminders. But also, Allie has the sheets. If you're interested in running during the week, come fill one out, and hopefully we can as a group, we can get something going, or we can hook you up with somebody who is also interested in a specific date and time. And then if you're interested, come check out some gels here with Jake.
And our goal on these is so we can church.
So it's like doodle only paper.
Yeah, let's circle. Let's find it.
That's going to be interesting.
This is great.
Make it work. Problem solving.
Thank you all for coming on a Sunday night. I realize this is normally what I do to get ready for the week ahead, but thank you for making time for this.
And I want to thank this team. And some of you know Ross is moving on. So I am kind of taking over as the staff liaison for this project, and I'm very excited about that. So if you have any needs or questions or pastoral prayer concerns or whatever during this process, let me know. So let's pray. Gracious God, we are grateful for today. And we're grateful for the reality that all of us probably had plenty of water to drink today already. That's not been a concern for us. And we pray, oh God, that we might keep in mind and be mindful of the fact that that's not true for everyone in our world. As a matter of fact, for a lot of people, it's not true. And so open our hearts to feel that and let that motivate us as we run and as we raise money and help it come from the compassion that we have for others who need to have the water to drink, to bathe, to wash their dishes, to do all of the things that we do to stay healthy. And I pray, oh God, that you might be with each person in this circle. Help us to run healthy. Help us to start where we are and not compete with one another, but to compete with our own starting point and to be grateful for the opportunity to do this. And most importantly, let us have fun as we share this experience together. Let it draw us closer, and let us share the excitement and joy of being in this partnership with World Vision and with other people here at St. Mark. So be with us now as we start this journey, and just watch over us and guide us in Christ's name.
Okay, and I'm going to close one more time. I want to get a team picture before we leave today. So if you guys could all come up on the steps.